All right, so you're getting ready for that family law paralegal interview, and you want to make a killer first impression.
You've come to the right place.
That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly.
We're diving deep today into some advice from Indeed.com,
Yes.
and they have some really great advice for making a great impression during your family law paralegal interview.
Yeah, and what I find interesting is that they go beyond just the surface level.
Okay.
Like how to answer questions
Mhm.
and really focus on how to present yourself as a legal professional.
Ooh, I like that.
Not just like, reciting information.
Right.
So like you're an experienced professional
Yeah, that's a good point.
and not just somebody who's just, read a textbook.
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Okay, so what are some of the things that they highlight?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was how to answer that question about conflict of interest.
Okay.
Because so many people just say, oh, I follow ethical guidelines.
Right.
But this source really encourages a more proactive approach.
Okay, so more than just like the textbook answer.
Exactly.
Like, what would you actually do?
Yeah. How do you demonstrate that you can handle these situations?
Yeah.
So they recommend emphasizing transparency right away.
Okay.
So you would tell your supervising attorney, like, this is the situation.
Right.
And then you would outline the steps that you would take to resolve it.
Ooh, that's a good point.
So it shows that you're not just reciting rules, but you're thinking critically and ready to take action.
Yeah, because anyone can say, oh, I'd follow the rules, right? But like actually knowing how to navigate it
Yeah,
and showing that you can think on your feet.
exactly.
That's impressive.
That's a really good point. And that theme of like showcasing your skills instead of just stating them
Yes.
comes up over and over again.
Okay.
Like in another example, they talk about staying organized,
Yeah.
which is obviously crucial in family law.
Right.
And they don't just say, oh, use a calendar.
Right.
They talk about a combination of digital tools and a daily review process.
That's brilliant. Yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to say you're organized, but to actually like have that system
Yes.
in place, that daily review
Yeah,
process,
have those tools.
that shows that you can handle a big workload.
Yeah, you've got a system in place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And so it's like being proactive instead of just reactive.
Yes.
Like showing that attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
It's something interviewers really pick up on.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So are there any other questions where they give this kind of advice?
Or absolutely.
Okay.
The question about calming down an upset client is a great example.
Okay.
We all know that active listening is important, right?
Right.
But they go a step further.
Okay.
They actually give specific techniques,
Oh, like what?
like reflecting back what the client's saying,
Okay.
summarizing their concerns to make sure you understand,
Yeah,
and asking clarifying questions.
those are good tips.
So you're not just passively listening, you're really engaging with them,
Yeah, you're showing them that you understand and you're listening to what they're saying.
and that you can stay calm
Mm.
even when things are getting a little heated.
Right, because family law can be stressful.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, those are all really, really helpful tips, but I feel like there's more to it
Right.
than just like knowing the answers to the common questions.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you really make yourself stand out from all the other candidates?
That's a good point.
Oh, no.
So most prep focuses on those basic questions.
Yeah.
But what really sets people apart is showcasing their passion and experience
Okay, how do you do that?
in a way that makes them memorable.
Okay, paint me a picture.
Okay, so imagine they ask you about your understanding of family law.
Okay.
Instead of just stating it, you share a specific example from a case you worked on.
Okay.
So you could talk about the complexities of the case and the steps that you took to support the attorney.
Ooh, I like that.
So maybe you helped draft a prenuptial agreement with unique clauses.
Yeah.
Or maybe you organized a huge case file for a custody battle.
Right.
So you're showing them how your skills have made a difference.
Instead of just saying, I'm good at this, you're showing how you were good at it.
Exactly.
Like that.
And it's not about bragging.
Yeah.
It's about showing you're passionate about this.
Right.
And how your experience makes you a valuable asset
Yeah, that's a good point.
to the team.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really helpful. It's like you're giving me a whole new perspective on interview prep.
I'm glad to hear that.
And the best part is it can apply to any question, even those tricky behavioral ones.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, for example, if they ask you about a time you caught a mistake,
Uh-huh.
you don't just say, I'm detail-oriented.
Yeah.
You walk them through it.
Yeah. Tell the story.
Yeah, explain how you found it,
Mhm.
what steps you took to fix it.
And what you learned from it.
Yes, exactly. So it's about like bringing those skills to life
Yes.
through a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they can really see you in action.
That is a really good point. Okay, this is fantastic. But before we go any further, I think we should take a step back
Okay.
and recap what we've learned so far.
Absolutely.
So we started by talking about how Indeed.com emphasizes going beyond the basic answer
Yes.
and using those specific examples to demonstrate your skills and experience.
Mhm.
And we talked about that proactive approach to those tricky situations, like the conflict of interest question.
Yes, and having a system for staying organized.
Yes.
And being able to handle those upset clients.
Yes. And then we finished up by talking about the importance of showcasing your passion for family law
Yes.
through storytelling. Bring those skills to life and make yourself memorable.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is all so helpful, but hold on, folks. We've only just scratched the surface of this interview gold mine.
There's so much more.
Stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll uncover even more insightful tips and tricks to help you land that dream job.
I can't wait.
Me too.
It's good stuff. Welcome back. We're diving right back into these awesome insights from Indeed.com.
Yes, and I'm so excited to hear more.
Me too. There's some good stuff in here.
Okay, so what else do they have for us?
Well, they cover some of those unexpected questions.
Unexpected questions.
The ones that really make you think.
Okay, like what?
Well, like what would you do if you thought your client wasn't being totally honest about their situation?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right?
It's like ethics and problem solving all in one.
Exactly.
So did they have a specific answer for that?
They didn't.
Oh.
And I kind of like that.
Really?
Yeah, because it forces you to think critically
Right.
about your approach.
Yeah.
And really shows that you can handle those gray areas.
That's a good point. Okay, so how would you answer that kind of question then?
Well, I think you'd start by acknowledging the sensitivity
Okay.
and the potential legal issues.
All right.
And then you'd emphasize that you talk to your supervising attorney.
Right. Get that advice.
Exactly.
Cool.
And then explain that you would carefully gather information,
Okay.
document any discrepancies, and seek guidance on how to move forward.
So it's like walking a tightrope?
It is.
You have to be compassionate and understanding towards the client,
Yes.
but also uphold those professional responsibilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough balance.
It is. And that ability to balance empathy with objectivity.
Yeah,
It's a key thing they're looking for.
that makes sense. Okay, so any other curveball questions?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's one about legal research databases.
Okay.
They want to know if you're familiar with them, but they don't just want a list.
Okay.
They want you to show how you've actually used them to make a difference.
So, like, instead of just rattling off Westlaw and LexisNexis,
Right.
give them an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you could say, I used Westlaw a ton in my last job, especially in this custody case,
Right.
where my research on parental alienation really helped us build a case for our client.
Perfect. So you're not just saying, I can use it. You're
Yeah.
showing how you've used it.
Exactly.
I love that.
And it shows you can apply your knowledge.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it all ties back to showing your skills instead of just saying you have them.
Right. Exactly.
Another thing that comes up a lot is prioritization and time management. Family law is super demanding
It is.
with lots of deadlines and a huge workload.
Right.
So how do you show you can handle it?
Do you just say I'm a master multitasker?
Well, you could,
Okay.
but it's always better to give an example.
Okay. Give me an example.
So think of a time when you juggled a lot of things.
Okay.
Like maybe you managed multiple client files,
Yeah.
met deadlines,
Right.
made sure nothing fell through the cracks.
So, like, what would that sound like in an interview?
You could say, in my last role, I managed a ton of client files,
Okay.
each with their own deadlines.
Yeah.
And I made a system for prioritizing tasks, tracking deadlines, and making sure all the client's needs were met.
That's great.
So it's specific,
Yeah.
results-oriented,
Yeah.
shows you can handle the pressure.
Perfect. Okay. Now we all know family law can be really emotionally charged,
Oh, for sure.
right? And this source kind of hints at the importance of being able to handle those emotional situations
Yeah.
while still being professional.
Yes, you don't want to get swept up in the drama.
What? How do you even show that in an interview?
Well, it's all about the details.
Okay.
Make eye contact,
Yeah.
have a warm tone of voice,
Huh?
really listen to the interviewer.
Right.
All those things communicate volumes
Yeah.
about your empathy.
It's about making a connection,
It is
not just answering questions.
Yeah, and when you're answering those questions,
Yeah.
you can share little anecdotes that show you understand family law.
Okay.
So you could mention how a case affected a family,
Okay.
even if you mainly focus on the legal strategy.
So you're showing that human side
Exactly.
without letting it take over.
Exactly. And that brings us to another point.
Okay.
Stay professional.
Always, right?
Yes. especially when you're talking about these sensitive topics.
Right, because family law can be messy.
Yes, but you have to show you can handle it with grace.
Yeah.
So you show you understand,
Uh-huh.
but you don't overshare
Right.
or give personal opinions.
Keep it professional.
Exactly.
Okay, so for example, if they ask you about a challenging case,
Yeah.
you'd focus on the legal strategy
Uh-huh.
and the good outcome,
Yes.
not the drama.
Right. Show them you're professional and objective.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the nuance of these interviews.
Yes.
It's like there's so much more to these questions than meets the eye.
Absolutely. And this Indeed.com resource is great
Yeah.
because it shows you how to go beyond those basic answers
Uh-huh.
and really show off your strengths.
It's like a master class in not just acing the interview, but thriving in the job.
Exactly. But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
We've got one more part to go.
Oh, I can't wait.
Me too. This is good stuff.
So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll uncover even more tips and tricks to help you land that dream job. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into acing that family law paralegal
I'm
interview.
ready to finish strong.
I know, me too. We've gotten some great advice already from Indeed.com.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff in here.
So what else do they have for us?
Well, in this last part, they talk about something that's often overlooked.
Okay.
How you fit into the team.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a question about, like, disagreeing with the team.
Yeah, navigating those disagreements.
Yeah, that one always kind of makes me nervous.
It's a tricky one,
Yeah.
but it's a great chance to show your teamwork skills.
Okay.
It's not about avoiding conflict.
Right.
It's about showing that you can speak up respectfully
Right.
and work towards a solution.
Okay, so how do you strike that balance?
Well, you could say something like, if there was a disagreement,
Okay.
I'd first try to understand everyone's perspective.
Okay.
You know, is it a legal interpretation thing or a strategy thing?
Right?
And then I'd present my viewpoint
Right.
respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with research or precedents to back it up.
Right.
The goal is to find common ground
Yeah.
and do what's best for the client.
That's a great approach.
It shows you can work well with a team.
Right, and that you're not afraid to speak up,
Exactly.
but also that you're focused on the client.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of showing your value,
Yes.
there was another question that I thought was really good.
Which one?
The one that asks about a specific case where your work made a difference.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful one.
Yeah, it's not just what you did, but how it actually impacted the outcome.
Exactly. This is where you get to shine.
Okay.
Did you find a key piece of evidence?
Ooh.
Did you write an amazing argument that swayed the judge?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you just gave amazing support to the attorney?
Right.
All of that makes a difference.
Yeah, it shows you're not just there.
Right.
You're actually making things happen.
They're shaping the outcome.
Yeah, and I bet that ties back to that passion we talked about.
It does.
Right.
When you're invested.
Yeah.
It shows.
Interviewers can see that.
Definitely.
Okay, now there was one question that really stood out to me.
Okay.
The one about a case where you felt personally affected.
Oh, yeah, that one's deep.
It is.
Family law can be really emotional.
It can.
So that question is there to see how you handle it.
Right. Can you stay professional?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not about being a robot,
No.
but you can't let your emotions take over either.
Right, you have to find that balance.
Yeah. So you can say that you were moved by the client's story,
Uh-huh.
but then focus on how you still gave them the best legal representation.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's about that balance between compassion and professionalism.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like they say you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's a good one.
You know, if you're emotionally drained,
Yeah.
you can't be a good advocate.
Exactly. And that brings us to another point,
Okay.
setting boundaries,
Yes. So important in family law.
especially with family law.
Right. It's so easy to get caught up
It is.
in all that drama.
So how do you address that in an interview?
Well, you could say something like, I believe in building a good relationship with my clients,
Uh-huh.
but I always maintain professional boundaries. I focus on clear communication, managing expectations,
Yeah.
and documenting everything.
That's perfect.
Right? So it shows you understand the ethics of it all
It does.
and that you can keep that professional distance.
Yeah, it also speaks to the idea of always learning.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Family law is always changing,
It is.
so you have to stay up to date.
Yeah, that reminds me of the question about staying current.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about knowing the answer.
Right.
It's about showing that you're committed to learning.
Exactly.
So mention journals you read or conferences you attend.
Yeah, continuing education courses.
It shows you're taking initiative.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about getting the job.
Right.
It's about showing them that you're passionate about this field.
And that you're in it for the long haul.
Exactly. Okay. I think we've officially uncovered all the gems
I think so, too.
in these interview questions.
We've covered a lot.
We have from showcasing your skills to navigating those ethical issues.
Teamwork, empathy, professional growth.
It's amazing how much we got from just a list of questions.
It is. Indeed.com really came through.
They did. I feel like anyone listening to this is going to walk into that interview feeling so much more confident.
I hope so.
Yeah, and prepared.
And ready to impress.
Exactly. So to all you aspiring family law paralegals out there, we wish you the best of luck in your interviews.
Good luck.
Remember these insights.
You got this.
And go make a difference.
Until next time, keep diving deep.